Hello, welcome to May Thomas Trash Talk, because that's what we're doing. We're talking trash with Thomas. He
with
says,
Thomas, about Thomas, at Thomas. What is my preposition?
what are these proportions? I'm now just looking at this going, wow, he is fat. He needs some exercise. Today we have a very topical topic, relevant topic, that is the stir of the fandom and has been for over 10 years now. We're going to talk about model series versus CGI series.
Ooh, good stuff. The constant debate of practical versus digital effects.
So, CGI, thanks for watching. I'm just kidding. Obviously, both of us have also grown up with the model series.
Yeah.
We were very well aware due to Shine and Temptation because we Americans.
Because we American!
And that's
Can't you tell? Yeah, so we both grew up on the model series, and it gave it this very tangible element of you really and truly. It had a weight and a depth to it, and it gave it this sincerity.
Yes.
That you don't get from an animated version. However, there is a huge difference between CG animation and traditional animation. And when we started watching it, traditional animation really would not have worked for the series. It wouldn't have looked good.
Well, because CG didn't exist in 1984 at that point, as it existed,
not in the state that it is now.
No, yeah.
So the fact that it started models because that was the best option given the time.
Yeah.
However, as the decades have moved forward and computer-generated animation has made leaps and bounds in what it's able to accomplish, both visually and time-wise. Yeah. Because what used to take you years to do can take you months to do, or even days to do now.
Depending on what you're working on, yeah.
It makes more sense to transition to a computer-generated look as opposed to continuing to hold on to the models just because that's what you've always done.
I think one of the things that people need to understand is where we were in the timeline for each of these points. Where, yes, we started with the model series. It still is super nostalgic. It still holds up today. Mostly.
It's not going to look as dated. It's going to look a certain amount of dated just because of the film quality. However, the effects don't age.
No, that's still how it's.
Whereas if it was computer animated in the early '90s, let's go look at VeggieTales for a minute and look at how that's aging.
Yeah, it's aging like the vegetables are aging.
It's actually making a comeback. The audio is making a comeback on TikTok because everybody's picking up how weird that series was. Yeah. Total side note. Sorry.
When you hit 1994 is when season 4, series 4, was produced. 95 was the 50th anniversary of the series. There was a big, hoopla celebration on all ends. And then once the Reverend died a couple years later, that freed up Britt and David and everyone on the team to be able to create their own episodes because they were legally obligated to produce only what was published material. So when you look at season 5 compared to everything, it goes wildly out of control.
They all went freedom!
The stories were, not to say they were bad, they were just chaotic. It was like every episode was just constant chaos, and it's like, whoa. But the models, you could see that there were improvements upon them and everything. And then you look at Magic Railroad, and obviously you have to give a better film quality to them because they're going to be seen on this huge screen. And once you transition into season 6 and every season afterwards for that, it just continues. The models are less realistic and more plastic. They look more like toys. Yeah. They look less like the perspectives aren't working anymore, and it just, the music shift also with the new composers, the production value dropped, and then on top of that, Head Entertainment acquired everything, so then they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do. They had to make a choice of whether they were going to continue to produce this series the way it was, which wasn't gaining viewership, it wasn't getting good reviews from, any of the media sources. It was just continuing to decline, or switch it to CGI, or completely cancel and abandon it. So they made what they thought was the best choice, which was switch to CGI. Now, Was it a rough transition? Absolutely. Man, that animation was like not very good to begin with. It wasn't VeggieTales bad, but it was
That's the bar.
it was real rough. After 10 years now, we're premiering season 24 now, 24, and you know, even just looking at the previous season and looking at the reflections in the buffers and like the bolts on the engines and the brightness of the colors and the different camera angles.
Reflections on the buffers?
Yeah, there's some of them have like they're silver buffers and they have like light reflection off of them and stuff.
Okay, I thought you meant the headlamps, and I was
No.
Okay.
So I think if I had to pick, you know, where we were comparing the original model series to the CG that we have right now,
The peak of both.
the peak of both formats, I don't know if you could really pick one and pick which one is
It's
going
an
to work.
apples and oranges debate. Like they're two. I mean, yes, they're the same characters, but they're not the same experience.
Yes.
And both have their positive points.
I think what's good about the CGI series now is because they're in their prime and the writing is also in its prime. That's really what it comes down to, is if you have a good story and you have a good visual representation of telling that story. In the original series with the Reverend Audrey stories, that was the best medium for that. With these contemporary stories and what they're trying to accomplish, CGI is going to be the best way to put those stories out there into the world. So both. Both are good. Stop arguing, shut up. If you like the model series, go put in a DVD. If you like the CGI series, go to Netflix. There you go. Everyone's happy. Get along. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go take a Xanax now. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel. We're gonna continue to go crazy every day this month.
We're posting whether you're here or not.
You know, you might as well be here. Chopping along with us. And you can be a model or you can be a CGI. You can either be like Percy or you can be like, hey, I'm a
How many people reacting to the channel? Rainbow Sun!